Hey, Dr. Tom here. And this might confuse some people because I was actually just on a live on my business page, but I felt like this wanted to be shared live on my personal page as well. So I just had a phenomenal coaching session with a client, Dr. Nancy, and it was around the topic of gratitude. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that gratitude is the key to manifestation. Gratitude is the key to joy and happiness and fulfillment in life, right? And yet, transparently, I've struggled a bit with expressing gratitude. I feel it internally, but I don't always necessarily express it or write it. And I think there'd be a huge win. I'm one of those guys that loves when I'm at the beach looking at the horizon. And in my business, I'm always looking forward at the future. The downside to that is that it doesn't matter how far you walk, how far you travel, you're never any closer to the horizon, right? So you can start to feel there's always this gap and you're never getting closer, which can frustrate the hell out of you. It certainly does me. So gratitude is something I've been intending to express more. I have a gratitude journal beside my bed. And of course, our client, Dr. Nancy, was also struggling with this. So let me just share with you what came up because there were some insights that came in because I've often thought if there was a frame with which I could use in my gratitude journal to just, because I go, well, what am I going to write about today? And I tend to nitpick and, I don't know about you, but I speak more harshly to myself than I do to anybody. So clearing that up is, something I'm working on. But in the short term, I wanted to get into a habit. So this is what spontaneously came up in the coaching session with Dr. Nancy. We said, what if we put it in the frame of the famous Marianne Williamson writing, out of her book, A Return to Love, which was often, credited with Nelson Mandela. But, in that quote, she goes, who am I to be talented, fabulous, brilliant, and gorgeous? And in fact, who are you not to be, right? You are a child of God and your playing small doesn't serve the world. So let's just put that in the context, right, of if you have a framework, if you have a frame for gratitude, like, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that if I have a framework that it's going to be easier for me to just literally express it. And so, based upon what I talked to Dr. Nancy about, is we talked about, Marianne Williamson's quote, which is one of our favorites for both of us. We are all talented in our own ways. And, I remember reading a quote that was attributed to Einstein. It said, would you criticize a fish for not being able to climb a tree? And hopefully not, right? Because again, it's not what a fish is built for. So every one of us have our own talents, right? And so being able to get clear about those talents and then just express where you were talented that day. Then, where also were you in that day? Where were you fabulous? And this might show up in your business. This might show up in your social life. It might show up in your family life. I mean, who knows where it's going to show up, but just reflecting on a place where you showed up fabulous is going to be really key. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, I grew up in a household that didn't really talk a lot about our greatness, right? And I remember my dad saying to me one time, he goes, well, I didn't want you to get a swelled head and think you're something you're not, right? So he didn't really model. I didn't get a chance to model much of that. And even though he's great in his own ways, there wasn't something that was shared in our household. So it's a bit of a struggle for me to actually, say out loud that I am talented, that I am fabulous, that I am brilliant and gorgeous. But that's exactly, the point that I'm trying to illustrate is that with that awareness, we are all talented. We are all fabulous. We are all, in fact, brilliant in our own ways. Just like a fish can't climb a tree, but is brilliant in water, right? And then, of course, the last one would be gorgeous. And again, we are all gorgeous in our own way, and beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And so, this people often go to physical things. And I remember one of my dear friends, a consultant, works with a lot of very powerful people in the world. Particularly, he got a gig into the model world, which lucky bugger. But anyways, a lot of these fabulous female models, he said they all have body image issues, even though they're like considered to be some of the most gorgeous creatures in the world physically. They, some of them think their nose is too big or their butt's too big or their toes are too this or that. And he's, so anyways, everybody has, body image issues. So, but again, when we're talking about gorgeous, you guys, we're not necessarily just talking about it, from the physical standpoint. I mean, there's places where, again, you could show up as gorgeous, in other aspects of your life. You could show up as gorgeous in your social life. You could show up in your business in a way. So again, it's up to definition. It's up to you. But with this frame, you guys, it's been a game changer for me overnight, is that now that I have this frame upon which to go to every day in my journal, now it's going to be easier for me to go in and actually express that gratitude that I feel is so important. Another way to say this is to, share your wins. right? And this is another segue into the gratitude that I would offer we all could or should have for our lives and the amazing lives that we have. So anyways, Dr. Tom sharing some insights today. I hope it's meaningful to you. It's been incredibly meaningful for me. It was a game changer for our client, Nancy. And I hope you're having a great day.